to myself, what a wonderful world.
Happy Sensational Saturday. Today, we're going to be talking about moving beyond fear in general, moving beyond the fear of divorce specifically, and what some of those fears might be. You might notice that you're not going through a divorce or a relationship breakup, and some of these fears are still your fears. All good. That's what we're here to talk about. That's why we're here to talk about it, because fear is a very common human emotion. It is a common it's a common challenge that we all face. You wouldn't be human if you weren't fearful. And so this is particularly important that you pull up a chair, listen, and pull up a drink, and let's sip and chat together. All right. So I want to today highlight a colleague of mine, and she has a company called the Midwest Way. So you guys know I have my coffee here. This is one of her mugs, the Midwest Way. And this mug in particular, I wanted to highlight today because it supports the Midwest Way, which is an organization that is a charitable organization. And I want to just take a couple minutes to tell you about it. It's a for-profit startup company with a vision to create a circle of love. And what they do is they bridge the gap between people and offer random acts of love. They offer information and they offer resources one heart at a time. So a proceed of all of their, or portion of all of the products that they sell actually goes to support this circle of love. They do t-shirts, they do mugs, they have Instagram, they have a TikTok page. Basically it's mugs and t-shirts. So I would love it if you would support them. I think it's wonderful that she's reaching out and trying to do random acts of love or creating a circle of love. And it's one person at a time. You know, I've done this with other companies. I mean, there's a place here locally that I've worked with also. And what they do is they sponsor families at a time. So I love it that they're doing this one person at a time. Sometimes, you guys, we think we have to be like Bill Gates and donate $1 million, or it was Melinda Gates that donated, I think, was it 3 million or 300 million or 30 million? It was a 3 in it, I think, to an HBCU. You don't have to donate millions. Sometimes all it really takes is one person at a time, one family at a time, one product at a time for you to make a difference for someone. So if you have an opportunity, I will make sure the links are in this live. Check out the Midwest Way, grab yourself a t-shirt and a mug, and know that you are supporting one person, one family at a time in a random act of love or kindness. So I would really love it if you did that. The Midwest Way. There ain't no way like the Midwest Way. That's what they say. All right. Today I've got in here a green tea, green chili, matcha, turmeric. It's one of those high power teas. I might have had this last week, so I've been drinking this. I love coffee, but I do a wake up drink that has some, it's got green coffee bean in it. And then usually about a couple hours later, I'm going to go work out. And so I don't want to over caffeinate myself. I will be bouncing off the walls. So I do like a tea in between. And then when I go to do my workout later on this afternoon, and I have my workout, pre-workout drink, then that way I'm not like caffeinated to death. Y'all don't want to see me like that. I don't want to feel like that. It's crazy, 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 crazy. All right. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about moving beyond the fear of divorce and your top fears. I would love to hear from you if you're watching this. What are some of your top fears? I know what mine were. There were many, by the way. And many of the ones that I'm going to talk about here were my fears. So I'll share my story about that. But what were some of your top fears? And you can drop that in the comments. I'd love to hear it, what you thought. Money is at the top of most women's, right? The financial security. And I want to talk a little bit about money. Financial instability. How was I going to parent alone? There was no vision or version of my life where I saw myself being a single mom. It didn't exist. That was not a thought. It was not a practice. Well, what ended up being a practice. It was not a thought. It was not something I wanted. It was not something I had ever given any weight to at all. And this is interesting too. My mother was a divorced mom. I was raised by a single mom, but in my mind, I did not ever think that would happen to me. I didn't plan for it. I wasn't thinking, oh, I could do it if it ever happened. I mean, I kind of knew that, but I never really, I didn't have that as a thought or a vision in my head about like, I might be a single mom. What if it doesn't work out? Never thought about it. This is an interesting thing. I suspect many of you never have either. Another one of my thoughts was dating. Oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you about the dating thing. Can't even tell you. Next one was just my identity. Who am I if I'm not married? Who am I if I'm not married? Like who I envisioned myself to be was a wife, a mother, a partner, like it was all tied in together. Like there's, you know, you guys have seen where the woman is the career woman and she's this like super mom and she's like a great wife. Like that was all a part of the whole vision. So if you take the wife piece out, I'm now a single mom. Like in my mind, it was, I'm just now a regular single mom. I'm a statistic. And I was like, I don't want to be a statistic. So many fears. I just felt like I was going down a rabbit hole. I had so many of them, but I moved beyond them. I took the steps to move beyond them. But I share that to say, I feel your pain. I'm not sitting up here saying I was never where you are. I was. I remember sitting in my new place, just thinking, I can't believe I'm a single mom. Like, I can't believe it. Like I worked my whole life to practice, to envision, to be a good wife, to laying a stable foundation. And yet here I am a single mom and I don't know if I could do that. I remember that. You guys, I'm getting choked up thinking, I remember like almost in, like I was in tears. I wasn't almost in tears. I was in tears thinking, I'm a statistic. I am a single mom. I'm one of those women everybody talks about who didn't have the guts, the glory, the chops, the expertise to make her marriage work. I'm that woman. And now I'm a single mom. It was devastating. And I was scared, witless, basically. But you can move beyond that. And we're going to talk about that today. All right. So fear is normal. Fear is a part of being human. If you didn't have fear, your fear keeps you protected. Your fear keeps you safe. Your fear is your warning system. Your fear is responsible for keeping you from getting hit by a car or hit over the head or your money being stolen or all of those things. Your fear is responsible for keeping you safe. It's designed to do that. But fear happens in our dinosaur brain where it doesn't make a distinction between a divorce, which is emotionally devastating, versus I'm about to be trampled by a bear or chased by a bear. I'm sure you guys have heard this, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this this concept or theory. But fear is an instinctual, or it's a feeling response that happens as a part of your brain. So it's not logical. You feel fear because you're walking down a dark alley and there's a logic that goes, this is a dark alley and somebody might drop out at me. But you could look down the dark alley, see nothing, know that it's nothing. It's a dark alley in your own neighborhood. You've walked down this dark alley 1,000 times. You know that there's nothing there. You know all the people there. And your fear instinct will still kick up and make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And you'll go, yeah, I'm going to take the sidewalk, right? It's not logical. It's instinctual. So when we've been compromised, like the demise of a relationship, an argument with a spouse. Your kids don't call you and you haven't heard from them for 30 minutes. They're supposed to call you every day. When we feel like there are things out of our control, lots of unknowns, there are things that are unknowns. There's feelings that we get from situations where your body is viscerally taking in the surroundings and actually believes, sees, interprets something that your logical mind doesn't know, but your intuitive mind knows is not safe. All of that is fear working on your behalf. It works on your behalf. It just doesn't make a lot of distinctions between I'm pissed off and therefore feel emotionally unsafe versus there is actually somebody standing in a dark shadow ready to mug me, right? It's not making a distinction between the two of those and the actual inherent danger to your physical safety versus your emotional safety or your mental safety. It doesn't make any distinctions around that. So going through a divorce, we feel a lot of fear because there's a shit ton of unknowns, pardon my French, and there's a lot of we are not psychologically safe. And that is really, there's a lot of talk about psychological safety. You don't feel so safe with having conversation with your ex alone. That's why people move to text and email. You don't feel safe engaging with them in their physical presence. And it might not be because he's abusive, but y'all are going to get into an argument. It's going to go off the rails. You're going to do it in front of your kids. You don't feel safe. That whole psychological safety in the aftermath of divorce is very real. It's very real in a lot of other arenas, but in particular in relationship dynamics, which means the other arenas could be work, it could be with friends, it could be with parents, where there's no psychological safety. That fear is as real as a bear standing at my door, my car is on fire, somebody's waiting in the wings to mug me. All the same, your response to it is going to be very, very real. So the big thing that I want people to walk away with is do not beat yourself up because you feel fear, discomfort. It is unknown. You don't feel safe. That is normal. And you still have to move beyond it, right? It's normal and you got to move beyond it because we can stay stuck in fear for a very long time. So I'm here to give you some of the top fears we have when transitioning from divorce and things you can do to move away from those fears and actually reclaim your life. You can't get into action when you're in fear. You're fight, flight, freeze in fear. Most of us are in those. Fight is typically that psychological safety when you feel you're going to fight. Most of us, you already flew, you did the flight, you're getting divorced. You moved out, right? That's the flight. I can't take this anymore. I'm out. You leave. The next move is then fight. Now it's, I don't feel safe. You're not going to make me feel safe. It's unsafe. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to let you see your kids. I'm not going to deal with you in this way. I'm going to do all this filth, learn filth, whatever you're doing. That's fight. I'm going to defend myself to the ground, right, wrong, indifferent, because I don't feel safe. Or freeze. Some of us get paralyzed. You don't talk to them. You don't deal with them. You don't let your kids deal with them. Freeze. We don't do anything. We are stuck. Or you see him, you do talk to him, you do engage with him, and you're just like a deer in the headlights. He's going on, going off, and you're just stuck like that, just stuck. I don't even know where this is coming from. I don't know what happened. I know I don't want to be a part of this. If I say anything, it's just going to get worse. I don't know what to do. And you're just, staring at the phone going, I don't believe this. And you don't even know you don't know what to say, what to do, what you can do. That's a freeze move. It happens to all of us. We've all been there. It is a human experience. Give yourself grace. Give yourself some grace to deal with it because everybody has been there. Even people who aren't divorced have been there in their marriages or with bosses or with friends. We've all been there. We've all been there. So give yourself some grace. You're going through a tough relationship transition. Even the best divorces still can be challenging emotionally and mentally. And so fight, flight, or freeze is normal. That is a fear response. Totally normal. Totally normal. All right. So top fears. Let's talk about some of the top fears that we've got moving beyond that. One of the top fears is the biggest one, or I'll say one of the personal ones, the personal reasons why I'm here, why I do this work is your children. So most of us fear the divorce is going to damage our children, right? Your children are going to reject you. They will think that I'm a bad mother. I never should have left their father. How could I do this to us? We were a family. I hate you, mom, right? Or I don't want to have anything to do with mom. Or I wanted to live with dad and I was forced to live with mom. All of that fear of being rejected. I thought my daughter, my fear was I was going to put on her a generational curse. So my mother's mother was, my grandmother was divorced. Let me tell you, we've been doing divorce for a long time. This is a generational curse. And so my commitment was to break it, to break this generational curse. I was going to have a good marriage. I was going to stop this lineage. And so my fear was also that I was putting this generational curse on her. And so my grandmother was divorced. My mother was divorced. I'm divorced. If my daughter gets a divorce, she's not married at all, or she's not engaged or anything. She's too young for that right now. If she does that, then this would be 4 generations of divorce. And so I wanted it to stop with me. And so my fear is that, oh my God, I'm setting her up. I'm setting her up for this again. That was a real fear for me. It still is in some ways, but the best thing I can do is be whole, healthy, and heal, teach her about relationship dynamics, support her in getting the help that she needs to make better decisions so she makes a better choice for a life partner than my grandmother, my mother, than she did, and to show her a different way a relationship can look so that she does not have that generational curse in her life, that she actually gets to be the one to break the vision of that, to break the cycle of that, to break the curse of that. That was one of my big fears. Fear of missing out on the important moments in your child's life. So when you have to split custody, something amazing happens and you weren't there. Oh my gosh, you guys, that used to break my heart. If she walked, if she talked, if she did a recital or anything. And I was at most of her stuff. We were both at most of her stuff. But you all know when your children are especially young, their growth and learning is exponential. I can remember it would feel like she would spend a week at her dad's and she would come back and her language capabilities would have increased in just 1 week's time. There were ways in which she could articulate and express herself that she couldn't when she left me just a week ago. I used to just, oh my gosh, I'd be like, I'm going to miss out on all the good moments. I'm never going to see her first step. That was another heartbreaking, that was issue, fear. I would fear that, what if he got into a new relationship? Who's this woman going to be? Are they going to poison me against my child? Is she going to love this woman as a mother more than she loves me? Because this woman's a stepmom, so she gets to say yes, but I am the mom. I have to be the mom. You kids only have one mother, one father. You get to be the mom. Now, they might have a community of people that are surrogates, supportive, like a second mom. People say she was like a second mom, or she was like a mom to me. But if you're the mom, you're the mom. This is your deal. This is your gig. This is your show. So this was my show. And I'm thinking this stepmom is going to be the good time and the feel good. And she's just going to, what if my daughter loves her more than she loves me? What if they have a better relationship than they have with me? What if because she gets to say yes and I have to say no because I'm the mother, it tanks our relationship? That was a big fear. And then there was just worried about the stigma that she would face. You know, we lived in a great school district. Everybody there was 2-parent families, single family home, taking these wonderful vacations across the country and traveling and all this other stuff. And that wasn't us. That was not us. I was a single mom showing up at all the birthday parties at a single mom with all of these 2-parent, and it was, I didn't want her to face the stigma of that. So those were some of the fears that you might be facing and some of my fears. They're very valid. They're very real. And here's what I know about that. You get to redefine your relationship with your children in any way that is healthy, loving, and supportive of you and of them. Those fears are just that. They were fears. None of them, by the way, have manifested. My daughter is in her early 20s and they've not manifested. She's not damaged. She didn't reject me. Her father has had women in his life and she has had a great rapport with them, and it did not diminish in any way the relationship that we have had at that time or have currently, right? She doesn't love him more than she loves me, or me more than she loves him. And she actually thanks me often, because some of the other stigmas some of the kids have with their marriages or their other single families, she was like, thank you for not having those things in my life. It's not the truth. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Or for some of us, everything and run, because that's that flight. We just don't want to deal with it. But it's not real. It's not real. This could have become real if I had accepted it as the truth and moved towards it like it was a done deal, but I didn't accept it as the truth. This is why I talk a lot about you've got to be mentally, physically, and emotionally fit. When you're not, you will accept your fears as the truth, and this is the life that you're going to live. And when you live that life, it's not just about me. If any of the things I said come true, who was also impacted in that? My kid. My kid. If I believed I was going to damage her, I probably would have, right? Or that she was going to reject me. If I treated her like she constantly was rejecting me, she probably would have eventually rejected me. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If I thought I was going to miss every event instead of partnering with her father to be at every event, or creating a relationship that he would call me and videotape her in these key moments, or call me and told me she had a key moment. So we were in this shared experience of her growing up. If I had just abdicated and said, I'm just going to accept he's not going to be in my life, I'm going to miss, then I wouldn't have had all that. None of it's true. It's only what you accept to be the truth. It's only what you allow to be the truth. Don't let your fears run your life. Your fears don't have to run your life, right? They don't. Don't let this be the truth for yourself. I get it. I understand the fear of this. I was most fearful about these things, but they don't have to be the truth. All right. Akin to that, adjacent to that, here's another fear, co-parenting. How are you going to share this relationship, right? That was my fear. First of all, you guys, I was really like not trying to be a statistic. I was embarrassed and ashamed that I was a single mom. I mean, like on a deep level. I was committed to not being that. I did not want to be a statistic. I was like, I'm not going to be the person they talk about baby mama drama. Like, that's not going to be me. It's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. So sharing and co-parenting felt embarrassing to me. Like I was embarrassed around it. And so I had to get over that. I had to embrace my fear of embarrassment, fear that people would judge me, fear that I was less than, fear that they would talk about me. I had to let that ish go. And I just embraced being a single parent and being an amazing mom with or without a partner, because that's who I am. And I was committed to that when I was married, and there was no reason for me not to be committed to that in divorce. But it was a real fear and it was an embarrassment. Alienation, I thought we're going to alienate each other, that we wouldn't talk, right? Or that he would be whispering things into her ear and that would alienate her from me, right? That we would get exclusive instead of inclusive. So that instead of a birthday party where he could show up and I could be there, that it would be like, we had to have 2 birthday parties, 2 Christmases, 2 everything, because we couldn't be in the same room. So we were always excluding each other from things that were important to her, because only one of us could be there at the time. So if she would have, like, my fear was if she would have a recital, only one of us would be there, because we just couldn't stomach the sight of each other and be in the same room to watch a recital. Or one of us would have to sneak in the back and watch and not tell the other one that they were there, because we constantly excluded each other because we just couldn't stand each other. That was a real fear. That he would, again, get married or whatever, and then try to replace me. That was another real fear. As her mother, like he would like run off and get married and be like, this is your new mom now. You call her mom. And well, what about mom? Well, she's still your mom, but this is our, and he would rebuild family like without me. That was like another real fear. I hear you, sis. Like I was there. I have all these same fears that so many other people have had. I had all these same fears. Again, not true. They're not true. Normal, but not true, right? My spidey senses are standing up. What if all this stuff happens? There are times I said that, like, I don't know what I would do if he, like, my daughter was so important to me. I don't know what I would do if he ruined that, if he took that from me. And it never happened. Never happened. It's just a fear. A lot of times our mind, what fear does is goes to the worst case scenario. It goes to the worst case scenario. You must learn to manage your mind. That's really what this episode is about, is managing your mind around fear. If you don't rein yourself in, you begin to live from this fear-based reality. And what that does is it governs your actions. And then your actions become based on this, which is not the truth. It's not the truth. It's a possibility. You could make it the truth by acting as if, or acting from fear, right? But it's not the truth. It's not the truth until you make it the truth, until you start living it. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. I'm going to say that again. It's just a thought in your mind. It doesn't have to be the reality. You can alter your reality. Another big financial fear, instability, financial instability, loss of that second income. Big, huge fear. That used to be a way to me. What am I going to do? How am I going to afford stuff? How am I going to manage? Right? Increased expense of maintaining 2 homes. So that's the other piece of it. You get a space, he gets a space. Then you're like, well, for some of us, it was like, he couldn't afford the space we had. Or I was the primary breadwinner and now I'm going to be the primary breadwinner alone. Or I wasn't the primary breadwinner. I couldn't afford where we were living because I wasn't making that kind of money. Now I have to afford the new place all by myself. How am I going to do this? Or, he's not going to help me do this. Real fear, financial instability, that is real, especially if you're financially codependent on your former partner, meaning he was really funding your life, right? He was funding your lifestyle. That's another one, loss of lifestyle. So I had a I had a big, 2-point-acre home or whatever, a giant house in the suburbs, and now I'm living in an apartment. Or I lived in a high-rise condo, and now we're living in a 1-bedroom and with a fold-out sofa, right? Loss of lifestyle. We used to eat out all the time, or I had a personal chef. Now I have to learn how to cook, a completely different thing. And I want you all to give people grace when you see them with this, because and I can hear people going, oh, you have to cook. How terrible. Listen, if you've been in a relationship that was basically the equivalent of a 5-star hotel, where you had a support system where your husband was the dominant breadwinner, and you had a maid or a gardener or a chef, you had nannies, and then all of a sudden in the process of divorce, you are in a 2-bedroom apartment, even though it's nice, and you don't have those luxury anymore. I want you to, ladies, get out of your head and stop judging. That is a loss. It is painful. She's been living like that for 10, 15, 20 years, to be living like that and thinking nothing's going to change and then have all that ripped away from her. She may not have had the luxury or the benefits that you have of learning to cook or having that lifestyle. Don't judge her for that. It's a loss to her, and she will feel it no less than you feel your loss of, well, yeah, I used to live in a row house or a townhouse, and now I'm living in an apartment. That's a loss to you. She's going from living in a single family, 5-bedroom, 5-car garage house to an upscale condo that's like an apartment. Is still a loss. It's a differentiation in lifestyle, and it's still a loss. And for people that are dealing with that loss, she's still facing the same issues you are, just on a different level, about the scale of that. Maybe she never learned how to cook, and she never had to. She met a man of means, he married her, and she never had to do that. That's not your story. You can't judge people with your story based on their story. You can't. It's still a loss for her. It's still going to be a struggle for her. She's still going to have to figure it out. She's still going to have emotional issues around it, or mental issues, or challenges around it. Give her grace. She needs to give you grace. You need to give her grace. She'd be throwing shade at you, talking about, well, it's not my fault you didn't marry well. And you'd be like, oh, so this is about a rich person. Stop it. We're all in this together. Stop it. Loss is loss. Loss is loss. Whatever your lifestyle was, if it's not that now, you will feel it. And it will be scary, because financially you are unstable. You were dependent on someone to deliver something. They won't be delivering it in the same way at the same time that it was before. It is a loss, and it will feel unstable, and you will feel afraid. She's going to feel just as afraid as you do at your level. She will feel the exact same fear. So get out of judgment around that. It's not fair. It's not fair. There are legal fees we're scared of. You're suing the pants off of this person for whatever reason, or your custody battle got ugly and nasty, and your legal fees are through the roof. That's an expense you hadn't planned on paying for, and now you're responsible for it. If you get lucky, the judge might order him to pay for your legal fees. If you're not lucky and contentious, and y'all are both professionals with equal livelihoods of such, you might have to both pay your own legal fees, and they can be astronomical. And it's not an expense you were prepared to pay for. Another layer of that financial instability, causing fear. And then the loss of division of assets. Some of you have property, some of you have businesses, some of you have investments. The loss of those assets, or the division of those assets, is very real. And I know some of you, again, let's not judge each other. There are some of you that are thinking like, oh, well, they have to split $1 million. Yeah, they have to split $1 million. They were going to share it. It's different. $500,000 is not $1 million, right? Or you have to split your retirement money. Maybe, you know, there are a lot of women today that they were really the dominant breadwinners. You have to split your return. You work 20 years for someplace and you have a fat pension or retirement and you got to give him money. It's a loss. Don't judge people for their financial situations. Everybody is at different levels and playing a different financial game. The bottom line is in divorce, you feel the fear of financial instability. You got more legal fees. You're getting half of the assets if you had any assets, right? If you're the primary breadwinner, you might have to pay him alimony, right? You don't know if he's going to pay child support or not pay child support, or even if he pays child support, if it's going to cover you, because that's one aspect of it, right? If it's going to be enough, you don't know. Financial instability is a very real fear. It's a very real fear. And just like the other ones, you don't know if it's going to be true or not. What we tend to do, going back to the beginning, fight, flight, or freeze. So you're either going to fight him tooth and nail for some money, whatever the money is. And I'm not saying that's a right or wrong decision. It is based on whatever your financial background is or landscape is. And you would have to talk to that about your lawyer. In some cases, it is absolutely worth drawing a line in the sand for that. Hi, Raquel. Good to see you here. In other cases, it might not be worth drawing a line in the sand, fighting somebody, right? The next one is flight. Some people will abandon it. Just give him everything. I don't want the argument. I can't deal with it. The emotional stress is too much, right? And the other women will freeze. Whatever he says to do, I'll do it. Whatever makes him happy, I'll do it. It's financial, just like I was talking about the children, just like I was talking about, it's not real until it's real. You have power in the moment, in the process, in the transition. Don't give away your power to fear. Get advice, get support, talk to people, figure it out. But don't abdicate and let your fear run the show because you just don't know what to do. That's a huge one. Financial instability is a real fear. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying there's not concerns, but concerns are different from reality. Your reality can change on a dime. But you got to be willing to move beyond your fear of what might happen, what he might take, what he might pay, what he might not pay, how you might divide the assets. Move beyond those fears to look at it and go, what is workable? What do I need? What is workable? And how can I get support to acquire that? That's what you want to get into that. That is important. You're welcome. You don't throw in the towel and you don't get combative. You're not going to win. Y'all get there are divorce fights that go on for years. And you know what happened? I had a lawyer tell me one time, this blew my mind. She said they agreed on every other financial thing. She said, you know what broke the bank? It was custody of the dog, and they fought for it for a year. It cost them over 6 figures each because they just were going to screw each other over this dog. Really? Fear. He's going to get something that I don't have. Think about it, ladies. Think about it. It's not real. Fear, that's the whole point about fear. It's not real. What makes it real is your mind. And when you take action based on that fear, instead of knowledge, instead of finding out the truth, instead of being informed, you do not have to be afraid. It's not real. Step into your power. Do your work, get the support you need, make good decisions. All right, another big fear that we have is being abandoned or being alone. Can I get an amen? Who feels or felt abandoned or alone? Hello, I was there. So of course, I'm a product of divorce. I've shared with you that. So triggers abandonment issues. I'm being left again. What's wrong with me? Fear. There must be something wrong with me that another man who professed to love me left me, right? And then it's twin, right? Am I going to be alone forever? Fear. It's a fear. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be a spinster, right? Being lonely, right? And then isolating. Nobody's ever going to love me. I'm going to be lonely and then isolating. Real fear. Very real. I felt that. What am I going to do? Oh my God. Anybody fear dating again? I gotta tell you guys, I used to just sit around and think, I just can't do it. I can so remember, I would think, I cannot do it. I cannot. Anybody ever see the movie Harry Met Sally? If you've seen the movie Harry Met Sally, drop HS in the comments if you've seen it. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But there's one scene in it where the couple is talking and they have just really become a couple and solidified their relationship. And she looked at him and said, "Tell me I don't have to be out there again." And he goes, "You don't have to be out there again." And I remember that. Tell me I don't have to be out there again. That was it, guys. That was so it. I was like, I don't want to be out there again. I don't even know what out there is. I don't even know what they do in the dating world. That was such a huge fear of mine. Oh my gosh. And then how do I date with a daughter? Oh, you guys don't know. Can I bring a man? I also didn't want to bring a man here because I watched, I think it was Dr. Phil, and some woman brought in a man to live with her and he molested her daughter. You guys, you want to talk about some fear? I was like, I cannot have that. Cannot have that. Terrified me. Thinking you'll be alone forever, never dating, never marrying again. So even if I mastered the dating thing, even if I got over being out there again, then, but what if I never find the right guy? What if I'm too afraid to be in a relationship? What if I'm damaged goods? I really don't have what it takes to be in a relationship. What if, another fear, growing old alone? You picture yourself on a rocking chair, but you're rocking by yourself. Doing life alone, watching myself do a ton of stuff, but by myself. Is this what it's going to be like? Not true. Again, it's just a fear. It was in my mind. It was in my mind. After I got over the running down the path of negativity and all the things that might happen with dating, I actually embraced dating. I loved it. For many years, I was a relationship coach, a dating and relationship coach. And I actually love talking about dating and relationships because I think it's important. It's one of the ways in which you move beyond your divorce is to actually embrace the idea that I actually might be ready, willing, and available for a new relationship. What does that even look like? And how do I not turn it into my former marriage? It was a great opportunity. I absolutely loved it. I actually like dating. I really enjoy dating. Dating should be a part of any relationship that you get in. It should be a part of it. And you don't just date your current relationship. You date your partner. You date your girlfriends. Your girlfriends go out on girlfriend dates. You have family dates. You date everybody. You have a moment in time where you have set for the purpose of being present and connecting with them. Dating is amazing and it touches all walks of life. I absolutely embrace it. I absolutely love it. But at the time, that was a real fear of mine. Again, not true. If I had embraced it, I would have become a spinster. I would be growing old alone. No people around me. I would be doing all of my momentous things in life alone. I don't do momentous things. I do some of them. When I went skydiving, that was alone. Nobody wanted to go with me. It didn't stop me. I told a lot of people about it. People were proud of it. It was a great experience, but everybody's not going to want to do what you want to do. What I got comfortable with was that idea. Everybody won't want to do what I want to do, but that doesn't mean I have to do everything alone. It's not, there are things I will do alone. I'm comfortable doing alone, but I'm not going to be a person that is lonely and alone and doing life alone. It's just a thought. It's not the truth. It's just a thought. It's not the truth. You just need to acknowledge it's just a thought and not the truth. And how can I create, if what I really and truly want, this fear was really telling me what I wanted was to be connected, to be with people, that I didn't want to do my life alone. How could I do that? And then you go out and you create that. Just remember, everything, it's just a thought. Fear is just false evidence, as they say, appearing real. Or when you get into that, F everything and run. It's you wanting to move away from what is hard, from what is scary, right? Wanting to do the easy thing, wanting to assign blame. You have to manage your mind in this process. Fear is about managing your mind. It is an excellent opportunity for you to practice managing your mind. Excellent. Because the next fear that we all have is your identity. If I'm not a wife, who am I? If I'm not a great mom, who am I? If I become a single mom, who am I? That was mine. I didn't want to be the identity of a single mom. I didn't want that identity, right? The other thing is I now no longer fit my social group. I'm a divorcee. Everybody else was married with kids, doing the family thing. What if they don't want to support me? It got awkward when you get divorced. People don't know how to deal with you. So you feel like you're going to lose your support system, right? Questions around religious belief. Will my church back me? My synagogue, my mosque, right? Why would they support me when the tenets of the religion say that I'm not supposed to be divorced? Then you feel like you lose your spiritual base, right? The guilt of that. You know, I've robbed my children of community. All of our married friends and these kids grew up together. The people at your religious, your house of worship and your friends, and very entrenched in that. Now you feel like people are going to shun you and you won't be able to have play dates with your kids there. And then the loss of the identity. Who am I if I'm not Jack's wife and my kid's mother? And this whole identity wrapped around the marriage, the ideal relationship. Who am I if that? Here's the good news. Again, back to what I said, it's a fear. It's not real. It's not real. And the good news is you can create whatever identity you want. Maybe we're all just programmed to be this wife, mother, 2.3 kids and a dog picket fence. Maybe you wanted to be an engineer, an astronaut, a fashion model, I don't know, an entrepreneur. You know, maybe you wanted to rise up the corporate ladder. Maybe you wanted to become an artist. I don't know, but you get to create a new identity. You get to reinvent yourself in your image, not the image of your ex, not the image of your family, and not the image of society. You get to create a new identity. The fear of the loss of all of that is not real. And it might play out in that way in some ways. If you don't fit if you don't fit your old social group, you will find a new one when you reclaim that identity, right? If really that old social group was a bunch of, not like Real Housewives of America, but like a bunch of yuppies or buppies, right? Running around, being bougie, and you never really fit in them anyway. You're more like a bohemian artist type that likes natural thing and wanted to become a vegan and paint pictures and be a sun child and wear flowy dresses and walk barefooted and go to Burning Man. Well, guess what you get to do? You get to do all that. You get to be in a community where you can wear a toe ring and a beautiful African necklace and have people comment and say that's absolutely beautiful, where maybe the yuppies, that's not their jam. Nothing wrong. That was the community and when you were married. But if you get to redefine yourself for who you are and you want to be this more natural, holistic, femininely deeply connected, different kind of goddess instead of the professional boss babe, you get to have that. You get to have that. You're not losing any identity. You're gaining your true identity. Again, it's not real, but we feel like I'm going to lose all of this. But what are you really losing? Are you losing people you really care about? Or are you just losing a bunch of people that you were in it with and you didn't even realize they weren't your tribe until you actually had to ask yourself the question, are they my tribe? Right? The bottom line is we all fear the future. We fear the future because the future is in that realm of unknown. We fear starting over. All of that comes with loss. When people talk about starting over, it's like begin again. I got to start all over. I got to do it over, blah, 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 blah. We fear rebuilding what we already lost. We already put a lot of time and energy and it broke. It broke, or I broke it. Now what? Do I even have the skills to rebuild something? And if I rebuild it again, is it going to break again? Will I find love again? Somebody going to love me for me, right? What if I'm a horrible single parent? What if the truth is I was great because of him, right? What if I just can't do it? We fear the future, but those are just, every question I asked was, what if? What if you asked yourself the question, different questions, or rather ask yourself different questions. What if you're a great single mom? What if your new community makes you feel so at home and welcome and love, you don't even think about the other people that you're missing? What if you have more support in your new community than you ever had in your old community? What if you now are doing the job, the business, or have the career that you absolutely love? What if you and your kids got closer as a result of the divorce? Because now that you are not fighting your ex, you have more energy to actually be present with them, to see them, to love them, to connect with them. What if, right? Fear isn't real. It's a warning. It makes you pay attention to something. So when you see that dark alley and you're in the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, it's saying, pay attention. There may be danger down here. If you're going to go down this alley, you better be prepared. Or how about this? Let's not go down the alley and let's just go a different way. Wouldn't that be better? It's telling you to pay attention. It's not a promise of the future. It's not a definitive. It isn't going to definitely happen. It's just a fear. It's telling you that there's the possibility of danger and you have choices. It's reminding you you have choices. And to actually consciously make those choices instead of abdicating your choices, defaulting to what your fear is telling you might happen. Those are not definitive. Might isn't yes. Might isn't it's done. It's only that way if you see it that way as done and you live as if. Take this opportunity to embrace your fear as a warning mechanism, as a little trigger, as like a little insight into the possibility of a future that you can absolutely avoid, right? It's like a little, like a superpower, if you will. You always see these people having visions of things or having intuitive hits. Fear is an intuitive hit of a possibility of something that you should be making different choices about. That's all it is. Don't see it as like a definitive, it's a done deal. If I do this, I'm going to fall flat on my face. And this is with anything. This is with every time I come on here, I am terrified of being on social media. Why? Because y'all are a bunch of judgy, and I say this with absolute love. And when I say y'all, I mean human beings, every human beings, we are, and myself included, a bunch of judgmental, stuck up, snotty, I can do it better, jealous, nasty, projecting beings on the planet. It's who we are. We are not perfect. It's what we do. We sit down, we watch these videos. I don't like her makeup. I don't like her eyes. She's too old. I don't agree with that. I agree with that. That shirt is ugly. She doesn't know what she's talking about. What gives her the right? She hasn't leveled up at all. She's leveled down. I don't like her husband. I don't like her background. She's doing this on Zoom. The platform freaking sucks. We are hurling these things. Just your mind is just rolling every time. Every time someone comes up here to say anything, they take a risk. They take a risk. I take a risk coming up in here to doing it. What makes it worth it, as I said before, I speak for the people that can't speak for themselves. I'm committed that children, right, have the opportunity to break the generational curse of their parents of divorce, and that divorce is the beginning of an amazing beginning for yourself, for the children, and for your former partner. It does not have to be devastating. It can be delightful, delicious, divine. It is an opportunity for you to begin again the way you want to, not the way you've been programmed, not the way you've been expected to, not the way that people said you should be, but the way you actually want to, and to teach that to your kids. It is invaluable. Do you know how many things that we do because people think we should? People say we should. They believe we should. Society says we should. The patriarchy says we should. Everybody else who's in charge says that we should do something instead of living the life that we were born to live, the life that's waiting for us, the life that would have us make a difference, the life that would have us evolve the planet, the life that would have your children grow, thrive, and develop. That's who you want to be in life. So your children get to witness that and have the opportunity to become that so that they can evolve the planet. So that when you're 85 and you need a heart transplant, your kid is the surgeon that discovered how to create an artificial heart that saves your life, my life, and somebody else's life, your best friend's life, years later, because they grew up in an environment that allowed them to thrive. You get to create that as a parent. You get to create that, but you can't do it if you're sitting in the soup of your fear and your depression about what might happen in the aftermath of your divorce. You don't get to do it then. You only get to do it when you look your fears in the eye and you say, not on my watch. That's a possibility, not a reality. And it is equally possible that I could become a millionaire, have the career of my dreams, meet the love of my life, and create a kick-ass family that is beyond anything I've ever dreamed of, because now I'm doing what I want to do, teaching my kids how to live their most fulfilled life and fulfill their purpose. I get to do that. You get to do that. I get to do that. And you get to do that being divorced. And you get to do that without a partner, without 2.3 kids and a dog, without being in a suburban home. You get to do that. You get to create that life and what it looks like for yourself. And you get to model it for your kids. And then you get to watch your kids grow and thrive. That's what this is about. That's why I come on here. That's why I take a risk. That you might not like anything I frickin' say ever. But I'll tell you what, if you listen to nothing else I say, listen to this. You have the right, you have the power to live the life of your dreams, and it's in the palm of your hand, but you got to manage your mind. And you can't live it through your eyes of fear. You cannot. You must let your fear be a part of your guidance system. Your emotions guide you, and fear is one of the biggest ones. It's telling you pause, stop, think, choose. Pause, stop, think, choose. That's what your fear is telling you. And that's what you want to use your fear for. It shouldn't make you fight or fly. I mean, those are instinctual things. If you need to do that, hey, sometimes you might need to fight, but it shouldn't be a default response. It should be a thoughtful response. This is my line in the sand, and I'm going to fight for this because it's right. Not because it's easy, not because it's default, not because of my issues, but because it's the right thing to do for me and my family. I'm going to flee, right? I'm going to not engage with this person, not because I'm abdicating my power, not because I don't want to deal with this person, but because sometimes voting with your feet and walking away is the best choice for you and your family. Get conscious. Don't go unconscious and say, well, fight, flight, or freeze. You can make any of those choices, but if you make them from a conscious place of your fear about what's possible, not what you think might happen, like what's possible for a better future from a visionary standpoint, then now you're in the game. Now you're cooking with gas, right? So I have a question for you. What do you really want in life? What do you really want? Like, what is it that you really want in life right now? And why do you want it? Drop that in the comments. What do you really want? Why do you want it? Right? I'm committed myself. What I really want is for every divorced woman to feel at home in her own body, to feel like she has the power, the stamina, the endurance, to be mentally clear, emotionally grounded, physically fit and powerful, that she can create her own financial economy, and that she can redefine her family in the aftermath of divorce, that she gets to define success on her own terms. That's what I'm committed to. That's what I want. That's why I'm here. Why are you here? What do you want? Right? What's stopping you? What fear is in the way of stopping you? Right? What is that all about? You know what used to stop me? Thinking I didn't know enough. Thinking that, I shared with you earlier, the single mom stigma. Who's going to listen to me? I'm just another single mom. I'm another statistic. Here I am talking about not being a statistic, and I'm another statistic. right? It's not true. It's not. Yeah, statistically, we're all statistics, right? I'm in the statistic of woman. I'm in the statistic of Black woman. I'm in the statistic of being an American. I'm in the statistic of single mom. I'm in the statistic of, we're all statistics about a lot of different things. And so what? So what? So what? Your life is what you make of it. How are you going to use the things that you've been given? How are you going to use the lemons that you've been given to make lemonade? Right? There are two kinds of divorces in the world, right? Or two kinds of divorcees in the world. There are those who are committed to themselves and to taking their lives to the next level so they can elevate their life and elevate the life of their kids. And there are those who have given up and will remain under the influence of their ex, under the influence of society, under the influence of religion, under the influence of marriage. I have no poo-poo against religion, anybody's religion. You can do whatever you want. But if your religion is something that you are not aligned with, that's holding you back, it's something for you to take a look at. I'm not saying anything. There's lots of things about religion that are absolutely beautiful. But if you feel like you can't be you in whatever your chosen faith is, it's time to look at that. If you're under the influence of something you don't truly believe in, it's time to look at that. That was the point of that whole thing. There are two kinds of divorcees. Those people that are going to be under the influence of something that they don't truly believe in and live their life on autopilot based on what someone else wants for them. And those who are going to take the bull by the horns and become the woman that they've always wanted to be, create the life they've always wanted to create, break the generational curse of divorce, and pass on a legacy of empowerment to their children. Which divorcee are you? Which one are you? Right? Who is with me? Who is with me? Who is going to be the latter, the one that's going to leave the legacy of empowerment to their children, right? Are you going to be somebody that lets life happen to you, right? Accepting crumbs from other people's table? Or are you going to be the person who's like, listen, I am the friggin' table. I am it, right? Are you going to be doing something on someone else's terms? Or are you going to do them on your own terms, right? Which divorcee are you going to be? Are you going to be the divorcee that I have a vision for my life, for my family? Are you going to be under the influence of somebody else's vision for your life and your family? Didn't you already do that in your marriage? Weren't we already programmed as little girls to get the grocery cart and to have that? I've been really talking about, I'm really thinking about that. I like go into the aisle at like a Target or a Walmart and check out the toys. All the girl toys are doll babies and grocery stores and how to be a cashier and stuff. You go into, what are the men doing? They're getting jets and boats, becoming G.I. Joe. They are like living their life to the fullest and self-actualized. There's not any father toys in there. I very rarely see any dolls that men can play with to learn how to be good fathers or husbands. None of that. You get to do that now. Are you going to create a vision for your life, the life you really want? Or are you going to let other people keep telling you what you should be doing, even now that you're divorced? You have this unique opportunity to do whatever it is you want to do. Do what you do. You don't need anybody's permission to do you. Are you going to create a financial base that has nothing to do with your ex? So whatever he gives you is in the overflow. You're not dependent on him. You don't care if he pays. And I'm not saying he should or shouldn't pay alimony or child support. If he pays it, great. But if you are dependent on that money to make you feel safe and secure, that's one diva. Another diva is going to be the kind of like, I'm not dependent on anything that he gives me. Anything he gives me is in the overflow. I'm grateful for it and he should pay for it because that's our agreement. These kids are his. I absolutely have the right to that, or whatever your custodial agreement is. And that's the right thing to do. Or maybe you guys don't even have a custodial agreement and you each pay in your own swim lanes, and you're not bitter or sad about it, whatever it is. But the bottom line is, are you going to be the diva that his money makes or breaks you, or you make your own money? You make your own financial economy. His money don't make or break anybody, right? Are you going to be the kind of divorcee that has the energy, the stamina, the endurance, the physical health, the mental clarity, the emotional groundedness to live your life? Like you don't, like a setback doesn't set you off. You know, a setback is a setup for a comeback and you're not worried. Or are you going to be the kind of the diva that like every setback sets you off? Every time something happens, it turns into a drama fest, right? Which one are you going to be? who choose this day whom you will serve. Yourself, your vision, your children, or all these other people with their own agendas about your life. They don't have to live with your choices, you do. So if you abdicate power over to other people who decide what your life is going to be like going forward, you're going to be missing out, boo. You're going to be missing out. I do this work. I come on here to bring this to your attention because I am the bridge between what you could be and what you are, right? All life is contracting, expanding, or stagnating. Some of us in our divorce stagnated. Nothing moved. We just sat there, stunned, headlights, denial. That's that denial space, right? Or the anger space. Some of us contracted. We just got smaller. If it was bad before, it got really, really bad. I don't have any judgment about this. We all have been in different spaces and places with our divorce. And then other people take this as an opportunity to expand. This is your opportunity to expand. Take this opportunity to expand. If you're ready to stop feeling tired and worn out and sad and depressed and crying every night before you go to bed and start raising your energy, that's what I'm all about. If you are ready to stop hoping and wishing for some type of windfall, like a lottery ticket is going to fall magically in your life, and you are ready to start creating your own economy, you're ready to start laying your own financial foundation for what is going to be your future for yourself and for your kids. If you're ready to stop having contentious, angry, frustrating, aggravating encounters with your ex and to start having engaging conversations with your ex, inclusive conversations that allow you both to have access to your children in a loving, healthy way, however that looks, right? You're ready to start redefining your family on your own terms and in your own way that is healthy and loving. If you're ready to stop being sad, angry, depressed, and start waking up to an amazing career, an amazing life, knowing your kids are safe, healthy, and well, you got enough money in the bank, that you are healthy, right? You're mentally sound, clear, peaceful, emotionally peaceful, right? If you are ready to do all that, then you are absolutely ready. This is why I do this work. This is why I do this work. So I'm going to make you an offer. I've been talking about it all week or all month. Breakthrough Secrets to a Sexier Life. You want to be in this program. Breakthrough Secrets to a Sexier Life. This is what we do. We create a sexier life. We create the life you want. Here are some of the benefits. Unity and community. You won't be alone. I did this alone. I didn't know anybody else that was going to divorce. And I did a lot of one-off stuff. I didn't have group. I didn't have community. Facebook and all that other stuff, all these group things, didn't exist. And even though it exists now, some of it is very shallow. This, you get to go deep. You get to make connections. You get to talk to people. You get to see people. You get to go through the program with the same people. So y'all really get to know each other. You get to share with each other. That's what you want, that deep connection, that unity, right? You will feel supported, seen, heard, known, and loved, and not judged, because we're all in the same place that you are or have been, right? Clarity. You'll get clarity. When you start putting the pieces together, I give you a roadmap. You don't have to figure it out. I give you the roadmap. I give you the keys to the kingdom. Do this. And you get to choose whether you do it now, do it later. You get to figure out how you do it. I give you a roadmap on how you do it, but it's clear. You know, if you do this to this, you're going to get that, right? Clarity. You're not trying to to figure it out, right? You don't have to think about it. It's all laid out for you. It's all done. You just have to follow the coaching, right? Take the action, be engaged. You get empowerment and self-confidence, right? You get to evolve your thinking, evolve your body, right? Evolve your emotional well-being. You get to evolve your finances. I'm with that, right? You get to involve your family. You get to evolve your entire life. When you evolve, you begin to believe in yourself and have confidence in yourself at a level that is unprecedented. You are empowered because you're growing, you're learning, you're changing, you're developing, you're making decisions. You're in it. You're not sitting back. You're not letting fear run the show. You are running the show, right? You get to develop off the chain relationship skills. I will tell you this, divorce is where I learned, I would say, because I had to. Divorce, parenting, single parenting, when you have to do it by yourself, right? You learn amazing relationship skills, amazing. They will serve you in dating. They will serve you at work. They will serve you with your family. They will serve you in your career choices. They will serve you in building the business. That's what you get, these relationship skills off the charts. You will get accountability and inspiration, right? We hold you accountable, but with your vision, right? We hold you accountable to creating the things you say you want in your life, not my vision. I'm not holding you accountable for anything that I'm doing. I'm holding you accountable for what you say you want, what you say you came to get, what you say you desire as your life, as your career, as your family vision, what you say you desire as your financial stability, your set point, right? We give you all of this. These are the benefits in this program. You can feel financially secure all on your own, right? Your money is an overflow in your life. You can redefine your family so that they are healthy, well, and loving, right? You can be standing for their well-being. You can be the catalyst that's created all of that, right? Instead of being in a bad marriage or being a doormat in the aftermath of divorce. You can be emotionally secure, grounded, right? You can be emotionally vulnerable and strong at the same time. You'll learn how to do that. Go to breakthroughsecrets.com. If this is something you want, the link is already in the bottom of the show note. If this is something you want, if this is the life that you want, if you are ready to take your life to the next level, if you are ready to stop living in the shadow of your divorce and start living in the sunlight, right, of a life that you can't wait to live. You're ready to understand the secrets of breaking through something that has been so painful and so traumatic. You want to be in this program. It is 10 weeks. You will not be the same as you were when you started. There is a payment plan for anybody who wants to do the payment plan. Anybody that pays in full, if you pay in full today, I will give you a 90-minute strategy session. And we'll go through everything. You have a roadmap, a private strategy session, right? This will take a little deep dive, more of a deep dive into some of the things that you'll get into a program. You'll get a 90-minute strategy session from me if you enroll today. Listen, there are programs out there that are hella expensive. Hella expensive. That's not what I do. This is reasonable. For less than $300 a payment, you can knock this out in 90 days. In 90 days, 10 weeks. You can be a different woman. You can be an empowered woman. You can embrace being the diva that you are. All right. I hope this was helpful for you. This talk was good. I think I started a little late, so we went over a little late. I'm going to finish my tea. And then you guys know, for me, I'm going to go get my fit on. I've got a dance fusion class today. I'm so excited with one of my favorite Zumba teachers. I'm excited about that. And I'm going to do that. I would love to hear back from you. Drop any questions that you have in the comments. If you are interested in the program, I'll also drop a Q&A link, but you want more information, I'll drop a Q&A link in that. Don't forget to check out the Midwest Way. I will drop a link in that for that. Random acts of kindness and creating a circle of love. We always want to help someone. There's always someone, no matter how bad you think you got it, there's always somebody that has it worse. Take an opportunity, get yourself a mug, and do something kind for someone else today. If anybody has any questions, please DM me. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Have a great weekend and a sensational Saturday.
I think to myself, what a wonderful world.